Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coins, and I promise this is going to be a journey full of twists, surprises, and details that most collectors don't even know about. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in your hand, a coin that, at first glance, seems ordinary, but because of certain errors, mistakes, and minting anomalies, it is now valued at an astonishing $6 million for the 1997 1-cent coin and an incredible $41 million for the 1972 quarter-dollar coin. That's right, two coins that many people might have overlooked at the time, yet they have now become the crown jewels of coin collecting, not just because of their rarity, but because of the stories etched into their very design, the subtle differences that turn something ordinary into something extraordinary, and the thrilling possibility that anyone who happens to stumble across one could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Starting with the 1997 1 cent, this coin became famous in numismatic circles because of a series of errors that occurred during its production. The United States Mint produces millions of coins every year, and while the process is highly automated, human oversight and machine malfunctions occasionally create anomalies. One of the most significant errors associated with the 1997 1 cent is the double die error, where the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment, causing certain parts of the design, often the date, lettering, or Lincoln's features, to appear doubled. On the 1997 1 cent, collectors have identified subtle doubling on the inscriptions and occasionally around the rim of the coin, which, while it might seem like a minor imperfection to the untrained eye, makes the coin extremely rare and highly sought after. Another fascinating aspect of the 1997 1 cent is the possibility of off-center strikes, a type of minting mistake where the coin blank is not perfectly aligned when it is pressed by the die. These off-center strikes can range from barely noticeable to dramatically misaligned, and the more severe the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. The off-center error is particularly valuable when combined with other anomalies, such as double dies or die cracks, which are tiny fissures in the metal of the die that transfer to the coin itself, creating raised lines or irregularities on the coin's surface. Additionally, there are rare 1997 1 cents with die rotations, where the obverse, front, and reverse, back, sides of the coin are not aligned in the standard position, often rotated by 90, 180, or even 270 degrees. Coins with extreme rotations are highly coveted because they are a testament to the sheer rarity and unpredictability of minting errors, and collectors will pay top dollar to add them to their collections. On top of all these errors, the 1997 1 cent also had a limited number of coins struck with weak or incomplete details, sometimes referred to as struck off-center weak strikes, where the design elements are faint, incomplete, or even missing in some areas. These weak strikes are a result of insufficient pressure or issues with the die, and they create a unique visual appeal that sets them apart from the millions of perfectly struck coins that were produced that year. Now, let's talk about the 1972 quarter dollar, a coin that has become legendary in numismatic circles because of its staggering $41 million valuation and the extraordinary errors that collectors prize above all else. The 1972 quarter is particularly famous for the double die obverse, DDO, error, one of the most sought after and studied errors in modern coinage. On a double die coin, the die itself has been impressed twice in a misaligned fashion, resulting in duplication of the design elements on the coin. For the 1972 quarter, this often manifests in doubling of the date, the lettering of Liberty, and even subtle aspects of George Washington's profile, such as his hairline, cheek, and jawline. Some coins show such dramatic doubling that the letters appear to shadow themselves, creating a mesmerizing effect that collectors instantly recognize. The 1972 quarter also has notable varieties with repunched mint marks, where the D or S mint mark was stamped more than once, slightly off from its original position. These repunched mint marks, or RPMs, are particularly valuable when the doubling is clear and prominent, as it indicates a mistake at the minting stage that only a very small fraction of coins exhibit. Another fascinating aspect of the 1972 quarter is the presence of die cracks, small raised lines that run across the coin's surface as a result of a cracked die. While these cracks might seem like minor imperfections, they are actually highly prized because each crack is unique and can create dramatic, almost artistic patterns across the coin. Some die cracks can even be large enough to be easily visible without magnification, and coins exhibiting these cracks can sell for thousands, if not millions, depending on their severity and rarity. Off-center strikes are also a major contributor to the value of the 1972 quarter, similar to the 1997 1 cent. The off-center strike occurs when the planchet, the blank piece of metal, is not perfectly aligned during the striking process, resulting in a portion of the design being cut off or missing. Some of the most valuable 1972 quarters have off-center strikes of over 40%, creating an almost surreal look that makes them stand out immediately from the standard circulation coins. And just like the 1997 1 cent, die rotations and weak strikes can also occur on the 1972 quarter, further adding to the collectible value. Coins with these features are incredibly rare because they represent multiple errors happening simultaneously, making each one nearly unique. Beyond the technical minting errors, both the 1997 1 cent and the 1972 quarter have accrued value due to the excitement and speculation surrounding their rarity. Collectors are constantly on the lookout for these anomalies, and the story of finding one in circulation or in a forgotten collection adds an element of adventure and mystique. The market for such rare coins is driven not just by the physical characteristics, but also by the history, the thrill of discovery, and the competitive nature of numismatic collecting, where owning such a coin is a badge of honor. The 1997 1 cent's estimated $6 million value is not arbitrary. It reflects the combination of scarcity, demand, and the uniqueness of each coin. While millions of 1997 1 cents were produced, only a tiny fraction exhibit the errors and anomalies that make them truly valuable. Similarly, the 1972 quarter, with its $41 million valuation, commands such astronomical prices because of the double die errors, repunchment marks, die cracks, and off-center strikes, all of which create a coin that is essentially a one-of-a-kind piece of history. Another element that contributes to the value of these coins is their condition or grade. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC assess the quality of a coin, taking into account wear, luster, strike, and surface preservation. Coins that retain their original mint luster, have sharp details, and minimal wear can fetch exponentially higher prices, especially when combined with the errors that make them rare. For both the 1997 1 cent and the 1972 quarter, high-grade examples with pronounced errors can break records at auction, sometimes selling for millions more than their initial estimates. Additionally, provenance, or the history of ownership, can significantly impact the value. Coins that have been previously owned by famous collectors, discovered in well-documented hoards, or featured in notable auctions carry an aura that elevates their desirability and value. In many cases, a coin's story, how it was discovered, its journey through private collections, and its eventual sale, becomes almost as important as the coin itself. The combination of technical errors, rarity, condition, and provenance creates a perfect storm that elevates these coins into the stratosphere of numismatic value. Furthermore, these coins illustrate the fascinating interplay between human and machine processes in minting. Despite the incredible precision of modern minting technology, tiny variations and mistakes slip through, and it's these very mistakes that turn ordinary coins into multimillion-dollar treasures. Collectors celebrate these imperfections because they serve as tangible evidence of the complex process behind coin production and the sheer improbability of a coin surviving with such anomalies intact. Next. 1979 D quarter dollar. Today we are diving deep into the intriguing case of the 1979 D quarter, a coin that has captured the imaginations of numismatists and investors alike due to its rumored staggering value of $33 million, a sum that might seem inconceivable for a coin that many of us have likely seen or even handled in our daily lives. But the truth lies in the rare and unique errors and mistakes that occurred during its minting process, making this quarter not just currency but a coveted piece of history and a symbol of the unpredictable quirks of coin production. To understand why the 1979 D quarter has reached such astronomical value, we first need to examine the historical context in which it was produced. The United States Mint in Denver was operating at a time when the demand for quarters was high, and like any large-scale production process, mistakes were almost inevitable despite the precision and technology of the minting presses. One of the most significant contributing factors to the 1979 D quarter's value is the occurrence of die errors, which include variations in the engraving of the obverse and reverse sides, sometimes resulting in double dies where the design appears twice in a slightly offset manner. Collectors refer to these as double die obverse or double die reverse errors, and they can drastically increase a coin's rarity and desirability because each occurrence is unique and often identifiable only by trained eyes or magnification. Another layer of value comes from the possibility of misstruck coins, which can occur when the planchet, or blank metal disc, is not properly aligned with the die, causing off-center strikes, weak strikes, or even instances where portions of the design are missing or incomplete. The 1979 D quarter has been documented in certain cases exhibiting these misstrikes, making individual coins extraordinarily unique and appealing to collectors who prize such anomalies. In addition to die and strike errors, there are also varieties resulting from overpolished dies or hub doubling, where the die itself receives multiple impressions from the master hub, causing subtle but detectable doubling in letters or design elements. In the case of the 1979 D quarter, several coins have surfaced showing these characteristics, and the rarity of these specific varieties adds significantly to their market value. Another fascinating aspect that contributes to the coin's worth is the condition, or grade, in which it has survived. Collectors often rely on grading services such as PCGS or NGC to assign a numerical value to a coin based on its wear, luster, strike quality, and overall eye appeal. A 1979 D quarter in uncirculated or near-perfect condition with recognized errors can see its value skyrocket into the millions, particularly when considering that mass-produced coins from this era were generally not expected to be rare, which makes any anomalies far more special. The historical record indicates that a large portion of quarters minted in 1979 were distributed and circulated without incident, making the surviving error coins even scarcer. Each mistrike or double die coin represents a momentary fluke in a massive industrial process, capturing a unique slice of history. The human fascination with mistakes, especially those that lead to immense financial reward, cannot be understated, and this is precisely why collectors have been willing to pay extraordinary sums, including the rumored $33 million valuation, which, while extreme, underscores the intense competition and desire among numismatists to acquire the rarest specimens. Furthermore, the 1979 D quarter's potential for value is amplified by market dynamics and the psychology of scarcity. Coins with documented errors or misstrikes are not only rare in physical terms but also in terms of verified authenticity, and as more collectors become aware of these anomalies, the demand increases, often outpacing the available supply, which can drive prices to historically unprecedented levels. One must also consider the historical research and discovery process, as many of these high-value coins were only recognized decades after minting, often hidden in pocket change or forgotten collections, leading to sensational stories of ordinary individuals stumbling upon coins worth millions. In some cases, families who kept jars of change have found a 1979 D quarter among thousands of other coins, completely unaware of its rarity, leading to life-changing events for the finder. These discovery stories add a layer of narrative that further fuels public interest and perceived value. The numismatic community also plays a critical role in authenticating, grading, and documenting these coins, with specialists analyzing minute details such as die markers, mint luster, edge reading, and microvariations in the relief to confirm an error. And once a coin has been certified and cataloged, its provenance can contribute significantly to its desirability. A 1979 D quarter with a documented history of ownership, particularly if it was part of a notable collection, can command prices far above those of uncertified coins. In addition to the physical attributes and condition, market perception is heavily influenced by precedent sales and auction results. As collectors track the sale of rare error coins worldwide, each sale establishes a benchmark, and when a coin with verified anomalies appears, bidding can quickly escalate into the millions, creating a feedback loop where rarity, historical significance, and collector competition converge to produce extraordinary valuations. One cannot ignore the broader economic and cultural factors either, as coins often serve as tangible symbols of history, economics, and even luck. The 1979 D quarter captures a moment in American minting history, reflecting the technology, craftsmanship, and human oversight of the era, while simultaneously representing the potential for wealth hidden in everyday objects. Stories of coins dramatically increasing in value due to small mistakes resonate with audiences beyond just numismatists, drawing attention from the general public, media, and even popular culture. This heightened visibility further fuels demand and market interest. The coin's physical characteristics also contribute to its appeal. The 1979 D quarter features the traditional obverse design with George Washington's portrait, meticulously engraved, and the reverse showing the eagle with outstretched wings. But when errors occur, subtle deviations in these iconic designs make the coin instantly recognizable to trained collectors and create a visual allure that goes beyond standard circulation coins. In addition, metallurgical anomalies sometimes occur, where slight variations in alloy composition or striking pressure result in distinctive coloration or surface texture, and coins exhibiting these traits are highly prized. Each 1979 D quarter with such anomalies is effectively a one-of-a-kind artifact, further justifying extraordinary valuations. The psychological component of owning such a coin cannot be underestimated. Collectors are often driven by the thrill of discovery, the prestige of ownership, and the knowledge that they possess an artifact that will never be replicated. These emotional factors combine with economic incentives to create a perfect storm for record-breaking prices. Moreover, the coin's potential for future appreciation makes it an investment as well as a collector's item, with numismatic experts noting that error coins tend to maintain or increase their value over time, particularly those from well-documented mints and with verified anomalies. The 1979 D quarter fits this profile perfectly, ensuring that interest in the coin remains high decades after its initial release. The scarcity of verified examples also fuels speculative interest, as collectors and investors alike are willing to pay premiums to secure a coin before it potentially becomes even rarer due to loss, damage, or private acquisition. This combination of historical significance, rarity, condition, verified errors, provenance, and market psychology explains why a 1979 D quarter could reach valuations as high as $33 million, and it also underscores why the coin remains one of the most talked about pieces in the numismatic community. To truly appreciate the coin's value, one must also consider the intricate details of the errors themselves, including instances where letters on the coin's inscriptions appear doubled or misaligned, or where small design elements such as Washington's hairlines, the eagle's feathers, or mint marks exhibit deviations that are detectable only under magnification. These fine details are what elevate an otherwise ordinary coin into a rare collectible. Next, 1984 D quarter dollar today, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, uncovering stories of incredible value, historical significance, and the intricate errors and mistakes that can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's treasure worth millions. Today we are focusing on the 1984 United States quarter dollar, a coin that has captured the imagination of numismatists and collectors alike due to its astonishing rarity and the unusual errors that elevate its value to an estimated $24 million. Now, the 1984 quarter was part of the regular circulation in the United States, minted in Denver as indicated by the D mint mark, and while millions were produced that year, a very small fraction of these coins exhibit errors that are both striking and highly sought after. One of the most prominent errors associated with the 1984 quarter is the double die obverse, a phenomenon in which the coin's design elements, particularly the inscriptions and liberties features on the obverse side, appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. This doubling is not always immediately obvious to the naked eye but becomes apparent upon closer examination, revealing a sort of shadow effect that makes the lettering, the date, and even finer details like the motto, "In God We Trust," appear thicker or doubled. Another significant mistake that contributes to the value of this coin is the off-center strike, a type of error that occurs when the coin blank or planchet is not properly centered under the die during the striking process. This results in a coin where part of the design is missing, sometimes dramatically so, leaving a crescent-shaped portion of the metal blank and unmarked. These off-center coins are particularly rare in high grades because the mint usually detects and removes the most extreme misstrikes, meaning that surviving specimens are exceptional and highly desirable. Alongside the double die and off-center varieties, there are also coins with die cracks, which are small fissures in the minting die that transfer onto the coin during striking. These cracks can appear in various locations and often create unique patterns that are unmistakable. Collectors prize these coins because each die crack is distinct, effectively giving the coin a one-of-a-kind characteristic. Similarly, cuds, which are small raised blobs of metal caused by a piece of the die breaking off, add to the uniqueness of certain 1984 quarters. While these might seem like minor imperfections, in the world of numismatics, these are precisely the features that can multiply a coin's value exponentially. Another reason the 1984 quarter has attracted such astronomical prices is the combination of rarity with condition. Coins that show little wear and retain their original luster are scarce, especially when coupled with one or more of the aforementioned errors. A high-grade, error-laden 1984 quarter is essentially a perfect storm for collectors. The coin becomes not just currency but a tangible piece of history that reflects the complexities and occasional mishaps of the minting process. The story of this quarter's value also involves market dynamics, as collectors, investors, and dealers often compete fiercely for coins with verifiable, certified errors. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC play a crucial role in authenticating these mistakes and assigning grades that can dramatically affect the market value. For instance, a coin graded MS 65 or higher with a prominent double die or off-center strike could easily reach 7 figures in an auction setting, whereas a lower grade example might not even scratch the surface of $1 million valuation. Furthermore, the historical context of the 1984 quarter adds another layer to its allure. This coin was minted during a period of significant technological transition in coin production, when the U.S. Mint was increasingly automating and refining processes, yet these very advancements also created opportunities for new types of errors to emerge. The interplay between mass production and the occasional human or mechanical oversight made certain errors extraordinarily rare, and collectors are fascinated by these anomalies because they capture a moment when technology and chance intersected to create something unique. The 1984 quarter also has variants that are particularly coveted, including those with doubled mint marks, where the D itself appears to have been struck twice due to die misalignment. These doubled mint marks are not only visually striking but also extraordinarily scarce, adding another layer of complexity and intrigue to the coin's valuation. One must also consider the provenance of individual coins, as examples with well-documented ownership history. especially those that have appeared in major auctions or been part of notable collections, can command premiums far above the standard market rate. The narrative surrounding these coins often enhances their desirability. Collectors are not just buying a piece of metal, they are investing in a story, a slice of history, and an emblem of the minting process gone awry in the most captivating way. The economic principle of supply and demand plays a major role in the staggering $24 million valuation. While millions of 1984 D quarters exist in standard condition, the number of error coins that survive in top condition is extremely limited, creating intense competition among collectors and investors. This scarcity, combined with the historical significance of the errors and the aesthetic appeal of mistruck coins, drives prices to astronomical heights. Another fascinating aspect is the psychological allure of owning an error coin. Humans are naturally drawn to anomalies, and in the world of coin collecting, an error coin represents not just monetary value but a story of imperfection, a deviation from the ordinary, and an opportunity to own something that is essentially one of a kind. The 1984 D quarter embodies this concept perfectly, whether it is the doubling, the off-center strike, die cracks, cuds, or doubled mint marks. Each coin tells a story about the moment it was struck and the circumstances that led to its creation. Collectors study these details obsessively, analyzing photographs under magnification, comparing die markers, and referencing historical records to determine the coin's authenticity and potential value. The process of identifying these errors requires expertise, patience, and often a keen eye for subtle differences that distinguish a valuable error from a common coin. And this meticulous attention to detail is what makes the world of rare coin collecting so enthralling. The market for 1984 D error quarters has seen fluctuations over the years, influenced by factors such as the overall popularity of numismatics, the introduction of new grading standards, economic conditions, and the emergence of high-profile auction results. For instance, when a particularly rare example surfaces in a major auction, the resulting publicity can dramatically increase interest in similar coins, sometimes driving up prices for previously overlooked examples. The potential for investment is another reason why collectors are drawn to these coins. Unlike ordinary currency, rare coins can appreciate significantly over time, especially when they are associated with a notable error, historical significance, or limited availability. The 1984 D quarter is a perfect case study in how a seemingly mundane object can transform into a multi-million-dollar asset. The fascination also extends to the minting process itself. Numismatists often study the specific techniques used in the 1980s at the Denver Mint, analyzing how die preparation, planchet quality, and striking pressure contributed to the creation of both perfect and flawed coins. Understanding the mechanical and human factors that led to these errors adds depth to the appreciation of the coin and its remarkable valuation. Moreover, educational institutions, museums, and private collectors sometimes display these error coins as examples of the complexities and occasional unpredictability of coin production, highlighting how a minor oversight or technical glitch can result in a highly prized collectible. The story of the 1984 D quarter is not just about money, it is about human ingenuity, technological evolution, and the beauty that arises from imperfection. Collectors also often examine the coin under ultraviolet light or use digital imaging to reveal subtler anomalies, such as die polish lines, micro scratches, or subtle variations in metal flow, all of which can contribute to the uniqueness and value of the coin. The concept of error coins has also inspired a culture of competition and discovery, with collectors actively searching through rolls of coins, attending coin shows. Today, we are diving into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coins, the legendary 1983 D quarter dollar, a coin that has shocked collectors and investors alike with its astounding value, reportedly reaching as high as $11 million due to its unique errors and minting anomalies. If you are a coin enthusiast or even just curious about the hidden treasures that exist in everyday change, you are in for a treat, because the 1983 D quarter is more than just a piece of currency. it's a symbol of the rarest kinds of mistakes that can transform a common coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact. The history of the 1983 D quarter begins at the Denver Mint, where thousands upon thousands of quarters were produced daily, a process that was supposed to follow strict quality controls, yet somehow, a handful of coins slipped through with errors that today make them exceptionally valuable. One of the most notable features of the 1983 D quarter is the possibility of a double die error, where the coin's design is struck twice, slightly misaligned, creating a visible doubling effect on the lettering or the imagery, a phenomenon that collectors instantly recognize as rare and highly desirable. Imagine holding a coin in your hand and seeing that the words "Liberty" or the date appear doubled, almost like a ghostly echo. This is precisely the kind of error that elevates a standard quarter into a collectible worth millions. Additionally, some 1983 D quarters show striking anomalies in the mint mark itself, with the D for Denver appearing unusually thick, off-center, or even partially duplicated, further increasing the coin's rarity and desirability in the eyes of numismatists. Beyond double die and mint mark errors, another contributing factor to the 1983 D quarter's massive value is the presence of die cracks and cuds, which occur when the metal dies used to stamp coins develop imperfections over time. These imperfections imprint unique characteristics onto the coins, creating variations that are virtually impossible to replicate and highly sought after by collectors who value uniqueness and historical significance. The patina and luster of these coins also play a role, as some 1983 D quarters have been preserved in near-perfect uncirculated condition, showcasing the original metallic sheen and details as if they were freshly minted, which significantly increases their market value compared to coins that show signs of wear from everyday circulation. Another fascinating aspect is the potential rarity due to production errors that went unnoticed during the high-speed minting process. The 1983 D quarter, like many coins of its era, was struck in massive quantities, yet only a minute fraction exhibit these extreme anomalies, creating an environment where supply is minuscule while collector demand is extraordinarily high. The value, reportedly reaching $11 million, is not just a random number, it is the culmination of historical rarity, error significance, condition grading, and the sheer intrigue of owning a coin that represents a genuine minting accident that no one intended but everyone now cherishes. Collectors often describe the thrill of finding such a coin as akin to discovering buried treasure, as it combines the tactile joy of holding history in one's hand with the intellectual satisfaction of understanding the circumstances that made it unique. In terms of grading, these coins are often evaluated by professional services such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, where each detail, from edge quality to strike clarity, is meticulously examined and rated, creating a standardized measure of rarity and condition that helps determine their astronomical market value. Auction records and private sales have shown that coins with verified errors, especially ones with clear double dies, significant die cracks, or unusual mint mark anomalies, can fetch multi-million-dollar prices, as collectors are willing to pay a premium for a guaranteed piece of numismatic history that few others in the world possess. Beyond the physical attributes of the coin, the story behind the 1983 D quarter adds to its mystique, knowing that it passed through the hands of mint workers, perhaps unnoticed for decades, only to resurface in a collector's hand as a treasure of immense financial and historical significance, creates an aura of legend around this coin that elevates it far beyond mere metal and design. Market interest is further fueled by the fact that coins like the 1983 D quarter often appear sporadically in auctions or private collections, creating an almost mythical sense of scarcity and driving bidding wars among collectors who recognize the coin's significance. For new collectors, understanding why a seemingly ordinary coin could be worth millions is both a lesson in history and a glimpse into the meticulous art and science of coin collecting, where details matter immensely, and one small error can transform a coin's destiny entirely. In addition, the 1983 D-quarter serves as a case study in how minting technology and human oversight intersect, demonstrating that even in highly controlled industrial processes, anomalies can occur that not only preserve history but also create significant financial opportunities for those who recognize them early. The coin's value also depends on documentation and provenance. Coins with verifiable history, whether from early collections, certified grading, or known auction records, tend to command higher prices, as buyers are reassured that they are acquiring a genuine artifact rather than a counterfeit or misrepresented piece. The fascination with such coins extends beyond monetary value. It taps into human curiosity, the desire to uncover rare artifacts, and the appreciation for how small, unintended mistakes can become monumental over time. For many collectors, owning a 1983 D-quarter is not just about the money, it's about participating in a historical narrative, connecting with the legacy of coin production, and holding a tangible piece of American history that embodies both craftsmanship and serendipity. The coin also exemplifies the unpredictable nature of numismatics, where years of routine production can suddenly yield an item of immense rarity, reminding enthusiasts that in the world of collecting, diligence, knowledge, and luck often converge to create extraordinary opportunities. Experts often discuss the likelihood of discovering another coin with similar characteristics as extremely low, reinforcing the perception of the 1983 D-quarter as a once-in-a-lifetime find, which is why auctions and private negotiations for these coins attract such attention from high-net-worth collectors and investment firms alike. As the coin changes hands, its story grows, contributing to its legendary status and the continued fascination among both veteran collectors and newcomers eager to understand the dynamics that make certain coins explode in value while others remain relatively common. In exploring the 1983 D-quarter, one cannot ignore the role of media coverage, collector forums, and numismatic publications, which help spread awareness of such rare finds and educate audiences on the specific errors and conditions that make a coin worth millions, thereby increasing demand and the perceived value of these remarkable artifacts. The broader lesson from the saga of the 1983 D-quarter is that careful observation, attention to detail, and a deep understanding of coin history can unlock hidden treasures in the most unexpected places, and this principle resonates with collectors across all types of numismatics, from pennies to large commemorative coins. Furthermore, the 1983 D-quarter exemplifies the intersection of artistry, industrial precision, and chance, highlighting how even the smallest details in coin design, die preparation, and striking can dramatically affect a coin's market value decades later, transforming everyday currency into rare collectibles that are both financially and historically significant. In conclusion, the 1983 D-quarter is not just another coin.